Hello and welcome to LeisureCast. My name is Brian Krogsgard here with the one and only Josh Olswich. Hey, Josh.
Mr. Brian,
How you
what a
doing?
week it's been, you know?
Has it? Has it really been? What a week.
Sometimes you live years and days and days and years.
I know the quote you're talking about. That definitely.
I butchered it, I know. But
What is?
not much going on. Yeah.
Mm,
How about you?
I'm doing well. Things are popping in Alabama. People go back to school pretty early down in the South. So
They go to school down there?
yeah. Sometimes.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So school started back this week, and it's a big thing for parents.
It is. Yeah.
And it's hot and rainy and
Yeah, it has
kind of
been
miserable outside. So yeah. I mean, nothing too much, I guess. And price is reflective of that. Like crypto is not really doing anything. Legacy's going down. I mean, I guess it's a good thing crypto's not going down more than it is. And therefore everybody's gotten distracted by a new social app in crypto where you can buy and sell each other.
I don't know about distracted, but the meme where it's like wake up something like there's arrows and there's like four things. My thought process was like wake up, see new Ponzi scheme on CT, go to bed, wake up. Like every day it's some new garbage. But hey, whatever.
Hey, there's no token for this one yet, so
Yeah, yet. Do you want to name names?
It's called FriendTech. I think it's friend.tech. I don't know. It is.
Tell me, what is the use case?
It's like BitClout 2.0 with no VCs, or if they are VCs, I don't know who they are. But you can join a room, which is you buy shares in someone. So I would buy like a share of Carpe Noctem if you were to join. And price gets higher with each person that buys, and then as people sell, the price gets lower. So it's kind of this reflexive supply.
What happened to BitClout, by the way?
They really sucked. I don't know. But it's all on chain. It's on Base.
This time is different.
That's the other news. That's the other newsy component of this, I guess, is it's juiced Base numbers pretty heavily. So it's making the Coinbase L2 rollout do well, because there's been like hundreds of thousands of transactions, and this app has a whole bunch of users. But what happens is each person that joins this ends up with a value, essentially. So the top value right now is Kobe's Twitter account, which would cost you 1.8 ETH to join his room. But if you do, then you can just chat with him in his room. It's kind of like OnlyFans for crypto people.
just so many different.
So a lot of utility here, Josh. A lot of utility. But you can buy multiple shares of people and all kinds of random stuff. But
we used to do that in this country, but then it was illegal. So I don't know if we should go back to that.
Buy people.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like
a
place we want to be.
To be fair, this is an opt-in buying access to people, and the people have to make themselves available.
I can see how it's like a subscription service, I guess.
I think it's cool. It's definitely been top of mind, I guess, for crypto Twitter type folks. But it's the app is terrible, but they did a good job with the memeing the rollout. And you make fees when people trade you. So your incentive as the person opting in is, I believe there's a 10% tax on buys and sells, and you split that with the app itself. So it's generated a lot of revenue for this app. It's generated a lot of activity on Base chain, and it generates fees if people are opting into your community or whatever they call it, your room. So for example, I think I put 1 ETH from ledgerstatus.eth on here, and it says my wallet balance is 2.9 ETH. Because my portfolio has gone up. I bought I bought Gainsey and 3x'd overnight and sold him. And then I have been messing around with other people too. But the trading fees are like 2 ETH. So there's enough transaction volume of people buying and selling that you can make money that way. So it's pretty random. But it's not like you can't monetize it directly. It's not like you get all the money that someone, it's not like it's not a subscription service, basically. It's a weird equity thing. I've talked about it too much now, but it's fascinating.
It's fine. People are bored.
It's like 2019 type stuff.
Look, I get why Brian, CEO of Coinbase, not Brian at ledgerstatus.com or whatever. I get why Brian is out there, like, beating the bass drum, no pun intended, for the the fees. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's not for me. I think if you're a certain type of person, most of crypto Twitter is going to love all this stuff. Anybody who is on Binance Smart Chain is going to love this stuff. It's not for me. It'll never be for me.
I think
so
Base has a lot of the BSC stuff, except with BSC is an alternate layer 1, and Base is a layer 2 that settles back on ETH with a higher security profile, and then also doesn't have its own native coin. So the value accrual theoretically would go to ETH as well. So far the rollout's been good for Coinbase. Like if you look at activity on L2s, it's Optimism, Arbitrum, and Base kind of like running up out of nowhere now. So it's yeah.
I have a Dune page on Base. Let me just look what the flows are. Let me find it here. Sorry, 1 second. Let's see. It is up to 182 million bridged. Looks like
dollars.
Yep. Sorry. USD, greenbacks, dead presidents. Most of that is ETH, 142 million. So you're right. That is good for ETH. ETH does best price-wise when people are using ETH to do stuff. Now, the stuff that they typically do with that to raise the price is pure high degen, gambling. That's fine. But it certainly is better than sticking it in staking and sitting on it forever from a price perspective so far. They may change in a bull market, but so this is good for ETH, regardless of my feelings with Base or whatever else. But
so I really wanted to bridge to Base about a little less than 2 weeks ago, but I was still on vacation, and that night I ended up being too lazy, and that's the same day that a bunch of stuff that was moving early, absolutely pointless tokens, but were being bought up based on the names. Like 2/3 of them rugged, and then the swap protocol that was being used had a massive bug in every single pool, and like pretty much every coin there went to zero. So I kind of dodged a bullet by being lazy on that one, but I did finally bridge to do the Frentech thing. It's super straightforward. Also, I use Stargate, so the bridging is easy. You can add it to your wallet easily, all that stuff, just like any other EVM compatible chain. I personally think Base will do really well, and I'm glad that I finally pulled the trigger, like Frentech aside, like just to, I don't know, it's one of those things when it takes you a while sometimes to just bridge over to a new thing and figure out how's it work and what's going on there. But once you do, sometimes that's paid off handsomely. This isn't the same market as it was when BSC was launching and AVAX was launching and Solana was launching, but there's historically been pretty good opportunity for digging around on those places.
I just don't want to promote, scratch off lottery tickets, basically.
Well, they'll be
it's not my market.
Too.
That's what we're doing here. We're just gambling, and that's fine.
There's real stuff too. You're trading tokens. Your scratch off lottery tickets are just higher market cap than some other people.
To some degree, sure, but at the end of the day, it's just not for me. So my opinion it doesn't really matter. One other thing about Base, it looks like there's 100,000 users, daily active users on average so far, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a lot.
for a bear market. Yeah.
I'll be interested to see if these layer twos end up with a particular like flavor of DApp for each one. You know, like I don't know, I'm making stuff up, but do like trading and financial dApps use Solana and social ones use Base, and you know what I mean? Like DeFi ones use Optimism. I don't know any of that, but that's just my curiosity.
Well, there's been a lot of sports betting news with Penn and I'm blanking on his name.
El Presidente.
Yeah. And I was thinking, like, what kind of overlap people-wise as far as participation goes? Like, is there I think that there's competition between people who are on something like Base and people who are into like sports gambling, for example. That's probably like a small percentage, but I imagine that there are a lot of people who dabble in both. Do you think I'm wrong on that?
No, I think you're right.
I just think as sports gambling gets bigger, especially in a bear market, like that there's even less of a reason to play around in alts, play around on Robinhood. Like if people are scratching that itch through easy sports gambling avenues, then I think they're kind of ignoring crypto at the moment. But
I don't know. I think crypto's been one of the greatest Lindy elements of crypto is that it always finds new ways to create incredible speculation engines. You know, whether
I'm just like not right now. You know, right? Like Base is set up in a way that in a bull market, like things are going to go absolutely berserk there, no doubt. Like it's like on Binance Smart Chain, right?
You're just saying it's too early.
Yeah, I'm just saying right now, like there's a lot of competing stuff between like traditional finance and rates, between sports gambling. Just my visibility, my understanding of the visibility of sports gambling is just like exploding, right? But that could just be my vantage point. I don't know. Yes. Anyway, I just think there's a lot of overlap there. I think there's competition there. I think
as an example,
when football comes back, and
that can't come too soon, man.
You're going to see a lot of people focused on that, I think, over crypto, in my opinion.
So Penn, to what you were talking about, they sold Barstool back to Dave, whatever his name is, for $1, but he has essentially a non-compete. He can't do gambling stuff because I guess he's going to go back to just doing content. But more importantly to the financials of it is Penn is taking all that gambling technology, and they inked a massive deal with ESPN. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure when you have ESPN directly involved now, in addition to DraftKings and whoever else all those participants are in the sports gambling arena, like there's going to be even more focus than ever on it in sports this year. But
now, if we can somehow bring the two together in a mainstream way, not just like, what was that wager platform?
Polymarket?
No, way before that. It's dead now, but
I don't remember.
Anyways, there's this market where you could like make bets. I'm blanking on it. It was an ICO. Anyway, if we could somehow, like, let's say we have a PayPal stablecoin and like, I don't know, choose a crypto, you can use it to gamble on whatever you want, sports wise, right? Like that's Augur. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gilox in the chat, rep Augur. Yeah. Imagine using like ETH as collateral or like a stablecoin as collateral for a sports betting platform. Like that would be super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, people are already, even within crypto, like Rollbit is probably the most popular casino, and I believe it has sports betting in addition to altcoin trading. So basically what they're doing is they're just assuming it's all the same, right? So the crypto platforms that are making that bet are being rewarded. I mean, I think Rollbit is one of the best performing tokens over the past couple months.
Didn't that whole thing have a lot of baggage though?
Yeah,
like I can't trust anything that's overseas, anything that's got blah 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 volume, anything.
But you're never. But that's where most of the opportunity is, to be frank.
I know, but I don't know. It's just not for me.
I know.
Sorry, I'm a Debbie Downer. I know it's just not for me.
just because you can't do it doesn't mean it's not worthy.
No, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't.
Holy crap! It's up another 30% today. Let's see if I can pull it into the window.
It's to me, it's one of those things that like goes up a lot and then goes to zero. So like,
yeah. So Rollbit is $653 million market cap and FDV of almost $1 billion exactly, up tremendously over the past 180 days.
Okay.
but the point is it's serving that exact purpose that you're talking about. Like that's what this app does. It's crypto casino, sports, and other things. I have no Rollbit position. I've never used Rollbit. I have no partnership with Rollbit. Blah 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 blah. But obviously, the market likes it.
Yeah, and there's a place for that. There's always been a place for that. A lot of how many poker players and whoever else got started is through
like this.
Offshore sports betting, right? And there's still a lot of people in crypto who are sports bettors offshore. Like they use Tron, Tether, they use everything, right? And there's definitely a purpose for that. So there's a lot of overlap in those audiences for sure. Anyway. Yeah. As Magic Turtle says, if you like the FTX, you're gonna love Rollbit. I've never seen that. I know nothing about it, so it might be a great exchange. I have no idea.
It probably isn't, and that's not my point.
I'm just saying I don't know enough to intelligently speak about it, just other than what I'm seeing from the outside. So
my point is just this is where people are speculating. They're speculating both on that platform and on the coin that powers that platform.
That's fair. Was the PayPal stablecoin? That was Monday, right?
Yeah, it's been ages.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Not really. PayPal's enabling a Paxos powered stablecoin, and
it's on ETH. Come on, get excited.
Yeah. Oh, ETH is going to be hyper deflationary as activity continues to increase.
I just don't know who it's for, but maybe I don't see the vision.
Maybe PayPal just wants this ability to have global money transfer in instants. Maybe their banking infrastructure is difficult. I don't know. Maybe they just want to cash in on stablecoin excitement.
I think,
Tether put out that report about how much money they make. They made like $1 billion in a quarter. Circle just put out another one. They made more money so far in 2023 than they made in all of 2022. Stablecoin business is pretty attractive. So some of these other institutional types are looking at that and licking their lips, licking their chops.
In a high rate environment like we are now, yes. Anyway, it just seemed odd to me because I don't know who it's for. If they can make payments less cumbersome, frictionless, whatever, blah blah blah, sure. But I just don't know who's going to use it. But maybe I just don't see what's coming. I don't know.
So what do you like right now?
Do you like anything? Yield is great. You get 5.25, baby.
Yeah.
Why would you?
It makes it really disincentivizing to invest in anything else when you can get 5.25 tax free.
You take profit quicker. You move cash into those vehicles, and that's it.
Giovanni Pickle says, serious question. How does Circle/Tether make money? Investing the deposits, selling data? It is by they take the majority of the yield off of short-term treasuries.
They make money the same way any bank makes money,
Yeah. Except for their lending profile is much more conservative than a bank. A bank goes and makes business loans and whatnot, whereas Tether is just going and buying short-term treasuries and earning that 5%. Like they have a report for, what percentage of their deposits are maturing in less than 90 days. So that essentially it prevents a bank run potential for Tether. There's also been some talk about some kind of arbitrage between Tether and Circle and overseas stuff. So people are redeeming stuff in Circle because they can't in Tether. So there's been like a supply imbalance. I don't know what's going on there, but there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in stablecoin world.
Well, I think Tether has smartly puts a small fee on redemptions. People have also pushed back whether or not this is true, that it's difficult to get an account. It's difficult to actually redeem Tether. I think that's just Tether truther bullshit personally. But yeah, you can go to Coinbase. If you have a Coinbase account, you can convert to USDC or back to USD for free instantly. I think that's going to be a problem when there's no demand for it. Hey, there's a free, easy way to get out as long as you have a Coinbase account.
Yeah, man, I wish. Let me see if I can find it.
So, what are the compliance people at Coinbase and Circle doing? You know, because they must see this on the back end. We're talking about billions of dollars just getting drained. And meanwhile, Jeremy Allaire is tweeting about Web3, blah, blah, blah. It's just funny. I don't know. It's like, Jeremy, bro, your house is burning. What's going on? Tether is plus 13 billion. USDC is minus 13 billion, something thereabouts. You know, it's pretty 1-to-1. It's definitely interesting.
I'm looking for this thread, but somebody made a big thread about.
Oh, the threadors have been absolutely. They're like locusts, man. Now that you get paid for being a threador on Twitter, the threadors are just filling up my timeline.
I've had some friends trying to make stuff up just to see what will harm engagement, but then they got bored because it was too hard.
The investigator.
Yeah.
It does look like Tether, for the most part, price-wise, has corrected a bit. It's not back to $1 on Kraken. What's the curve pool look like?
I don't know.
So there was this concern. I think we talked about this last week. Like, what is Huobi in trouble? Is Binance in trouble? They can't get USD. Somebody's trying to get USD. They're going to the curve pool. They're going to the Uniswap pool. That seems to be behind us now. The other sort of implied problem there was that they couldn't cash out via Tether. That's why they were selling Tether. And that's why the Tether price potentially was getting sold off. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But the curve pool, last I saw, was like at 52% Tether. So it had corrected quite a bit.
Yeah, I think most of that got fixed with the Curve stuff because the founder of Curve paid most of his loan back, got his health.
Well, this was like, another, I think, unrelated thing for Curve. Yeah. My issue is that the actual cause hasn't really been figured out. Like, why did that happen? And how did it get better? Did the market just self-arbitrage? Did Tether step in somewhere? There was some conspiracies about that. I think it's good that Tether stepped in if they did. Somebody's got to step in, right?
Yeah. Why not?
It's a free market, baby.
That's right. So Nay_GMY wrote this thread about Maker leading the charge for the DeFi bear market to end. They've been increasing their revenue, reducing USDC on their book, which it used to be 50%, and now it's 9%. And now they're replacing it with yield generating RWA. I don't know what RWA stands for.
You don't know what RWA
Real world
is,
asset,
bro?
Real world assets. Anyway,
Yes.
So now it's earning a decent amount of revenue itself.
We've come full circle. Ouroboros, baby. Going from DeFi to YieldFi. I think it's great, but it's not DeFi. But I could be wrong.
Well, I think this person is indicating that what's been problematic with DeFi lately, as in for a couple years now, especially as rates have gone up, the DeFi yields got more and more compressed. And so if you have this contract risk and on-chain risk in addition to yields not being very good, why would you want to use it? So everything was kind of just getting nuked.
I agree with all of the above.
Well, this is saying that because of these mechanisms, this is got the potential to change, and now we may see DeFi yields rebound to a smarter relationship with traditional yields, where you have higher DeFi yields than you have, say, Treasury yields by a significant margin. And in that case, DeFi could do very well, but as people seek that extra yield.
Well, now you're also competing with ETH yield too, right?
Yield all the yields. They'll probably be interconnected, and you'll just have a congregated yield amongst them all.
Can I do a blended like 50-50 ETH maker real world asset pool yield?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, let's go.
Anyway.
So I just checked here. I have a theory. Okay. Curve pool up to 65% tether. It's possible that for some reason, wires being closed on the weekend. I don't know. It's Friday, right? Maybe we're going to start seeing tether just like get off $1 every Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Ooh.
Because nobody can arb it because of wires. I don't know.
Keep an eye out for that. Research that one for us, Josh.
Yeah, I'll be watching it. I'm sure people will be talking about it. Because if that's a problem every weekend, and then that's a sign that something's not working the way it should be.
The big problem here is that we've gone 22 weeks with basically no volatility in crypto. That's
why we opened the show with Friend Tech.
Yeah, we're bored out of our minds. This is 2019 level boredom. Different looking chart, but same level of boredom.
I was thinking, like, is this worse than 2015? I don't think so. Is it worse than 2018? Not yet. Is it just about like 2019? Yes, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, it feels like this area down here.
Yeah, but that felt I was very sure of that when you talked about that.
You and I were very bullish at the time.
Yeah, we were.
A lot of people were not.
Yes. Up here, I don't know. I'm bullish. I'm more bullish on the fundamentals than I was down there.
Mm-hmm.
But the chart, to me, still, I need to be convinced of a higher high, because I'm just worried that this is going to break this diag, and that's it.
That's all she wrote.
Because it's in the daily cloud-ish.
It's in no man's land.
Flows on the traditional side are just waiting for an ETF. ETF got delayed today from ARK, which wasn't a shocker, the spot ETF.
The speculation is that the ETFs are looking like they're going to get approved, and the likelihood is multiple will get approved at one time.
I hope they all get approved. I hope Grayscale wins their lawsuit, and I hope Grayscale has to restart their process as they watch all the institutions get approved.
I hope we get some of this resolution between Grayscale and Gemini. Seems like there's some real squirreliness going on there.
Yeah, lots of consternation and funny games for sure. And if we push the ETF stuff back, just keep pushing it back. That's fine. It's not like TradFi looking at this chart, looking at the fundamentals and
you really
macro and yields. Like you
want it to happen when things start being more obviously bullish.
Yeah, do it after halving, right? Do it April or May. We want an approval then, when everyone's like, oh God, where can I get some of this BTC? They're not doing it now, I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't think it's anything crazy. But yeah, halving is still early next year. So we got time. Rates are still ridiculous. I saw the money market accounts hit an all-time high, like 5.5 trillion or something. That's a lot of dry powder.
It's a lot. But there's a lot of yield.
There's a lot of yield. Then that's back to the stable coins. That's where they get all that in reverse repo and in money markets, as well as treasuries.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Dixie's been real interesting. It turbo capitulated and then has had 4 weeks of straight upwards motion. And I think we're going to see here if it's going to maintain a lower high downtrend or if it's going to have a stronger recovery. That stronger recovery would probably be pretty bad for risk markets.
That's just another reason to delay the ETF, right? Like let Dixie be bullish.
Yeah, let that play out.
Let Bitcoin flounder and let the rest of crypto, sell off. Why jump into that like upstream and we can just wait for things to settle down? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not in any rush. If anything, if you're sure the ETFs are going to get approved, if you're sure institutional flows are coming, you want lower prices. You want to accumulate more. You want more time, So the price is whatever at this point. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before we actually see what the flows look like.
Yeah. 30-year, 10-year, 2-year, all pressing highs as well. It's none of these things like speak great for crypto having large upside, but I don't know. We'll see. NASDAQ on the month is down, but it had 4 straight months of high upside and almost looks like it was at practically an all-time high. So in my mind, it would not surprise me to see some correction, consolidation in stock markets, especially as those other forces that we just talked about play out. And I think that would mean it's going to take a while for crypto as well. That'd be my guess. I don't know for sure, but that'd be my guess.
Yeah, I think legacy is definitely due for a correction. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. And because of the lack of breadth, I can't say that word.
Yeah.
Because of the lack of breadth, then it's the top five stocks that control the S&P or the NASDAQ, whatever it is, right? And that none of those are looking great. Tesla pulled back, Microsoft pulled back, Apple pulled way back. I think Meta looks the best among them. Netflix looked okay as well. Yeah, look at that weekly on Nvidia. Oof.
Looks like maybe it finally topped.
I don't want to call it top in a mania, but at least in the near term. Who's making bank on yield is Apple with their Goldman Sachs savings account thing. 10 billion they hit last week.
I didn't realize Apple had gone to an all-time high.
Yeah.
$3 trillion market cap, I think it hit. Just mind-blowing, man.
So not only is like, crypto's not moving, but you've got legacy that just blew off completely and now it's pulling back. And you got the mining stocks that were doing extremely well too. So it's just very little reason for anybody to care about spot right now,
Spot crypto.
And then you've got ETH and GBTC. Like if you want exposure, those are also options because there's massive discounts on those still. 25, 35%.
Yeah. Yep. I had bought a significant amount of ETH a little while back and been very happy with it because it's performed fairly well on most days, whether ETH has or not.
Right.
Just as a lot of this ETF talk is helping compress the discounts on these products.
So what's happening is these lesser ETFs that are having trouble competing against the big guy of ProShares, they've decided to attempt to add, Valkyrie being one of them, ETH to the offering. So it'll be interesting if that actually gets approved. I don't see why it wouldn't, other than it's ETH, but that should help the ETH discount,
Yeah. Well, GBTC, June 13th was a 44% discount, and today it's at 25. So a significant recovery. It was almost a 50% discount at the end of 2022, 48, 49%. And then I believe ETH was...
Well, for years, the news got worse and worse and worse that we're not going to have an ETF, we're not going to have an ETF. And that pendulum has swung the opposite direction. So
yeah,
I think these discounts should continue to close.
June ETH discount was 56% is to 35%. At the end of the year, ETH discount was 60% and is now 35%. So even if ETH has been flat since that June period, but you know, ETH has done okay over that time, and I would, to your point, agree. This 35%, I want to hold on to ETH until it's like 20% or less before I start questioning whether it's a worthy discount.
Yeah, I think for the real flows, you've got people sports betting and playing on base, and then you've got people playing the legacy side and looking at stuff like this and saying, yeah, why would I buy a spot? So I just don't think there's a lot of flows in general right now, for all the reasons we talked about. But yeah, once that stuff starts to close, I think that's really good for the spot side of things. But people are too hip and with it now. The meta has been exposed, and people know where to get their fix. The mining stuff, the grayscale stuff, those are the plays. Spot, who cares?
Spot and chill.
You got to worry about custody. You got to worry about.
Oh, you mean why care about spot?
Yeah, like why would the people? I'm saying why would the people with money right now, who aren't worried about paying for groceries, why would they buy anything but these legacy TradFi products? In the moment, that's going to change hopefully once the spot ETF gets approved. But
yeah, I think it's fair. I think it could continue for another few months until the ETF stuff shakes out. Why don't we leave it there? I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, ETH, man, it's either 2000 or forget about it. I don't think there's anything else to say.
Forget 2000. Take us straight to 3.
If you're bullish ETH, again, what do you care, right? Just keep accumulating, keep yielding. It doesn't matter, right? Just don't lose it all on a stupid leverage trade.
Yep. Take it slow.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate you. Good to see you, Josh.
Good to see you.
Follow Josh at Carpe Noctem. He's been doing a lot of YouTube stuff lately. See you later.
Monuments crumble in the blink of an eye. The easy river has just run dry. In a house of cards, I feel the breeze wound so tight I can barely breathe. Oh, the chains, oh, the chains, Lord, the chains, come release me from the chains.